Hey guys, I'm back and sorry for the long break. I've been busy moving to a new place and things have been pretty, busy. Over the weekend, I finally got some game time and I managed to grab my full voice stone, clear Maven, take down all the bosses and run pretty much everything solo. Today, I am showing you a tankier version of the build. I have added Acrobatic to go full evasions, even though I usually lean toward mitigations over avoidance. Since I'm on the ranger side anyway, and this league is an experimental event, I decided to try it out. I have made a bunch of tweaks and optimizations since my last update on Discord. I am now level 95, and since the switch, I haven't really died at all. I've been clearing maps and cruising through T16 without any major issues. Alright, enough talk, let's check out these changes. There are lots going on, and I'll try to break down everything. First off, when you make the switch to a tankier setups, you are going to lose some damage, and that means you will need to invest more into the build later to get back the damage, and to do that, you will need to pick up Unnatural Instinct and Life Meaning Jewels, and these combos are insanely strong for damage. Next, we'll also need to add Ancestral Visions and Great Nightmare. These will not only make you Ailment immune, which let you drop POE of Ailment for praise, but will also help cap your spell dodge chance from Acrobatics. You will also need to hit at least level 90 to grab all the necessary passive points for the setups, and of course you have to optimize everything, get a solid 6 link, quality up your gems, weapons, stats. It is a bit complicated, so if you get stuck, feel free to check out the timestamps, and all the optimizations are also reflected in the POB, so take a look there if you need to. First, let's break down the defensive side of things, so we'll start with Acrobatics. This keystone basically converts your chance to suppress spell damage into chance to dodge spell, and is capped at 75%. That means instead of taking damage from a spell hit, you will actually dodge it entirely. So now when we do get hit by a spell, you will take a bit more damage, but honestly with our playstyle we rarely get hits more than once, so it's a pretty fair trade-off. All we really need to do is to not stand in a lot of stuff or get surrounded and get hits constantly. Anyway, so to make this work, we'll need to overcap our spell suppression chance to around 150%. And that's where the Green Nightmare Jewels come in. It gives me about 41% chance to suppress spell, which is pretty solid. So the way this works is that it converts your cold or all elemental resistant into spell suppressions at 70% of their values. And of course that means you will need to change some of the dexterity notes here into the cold resistant tattoo, and it would actually help you get more cold resistant as well, so that's fine. Also, by the way, this is a great spot for the Green Nightmare Jewel. It is extremely efficient because we pass through here and there are a lot of dexterity note around here, so yeah, anyway, it's a good trade-off. Another key thing in our defense is going to be the Kintsugi body armor, and this thing gives you a lot of flat damage reductions as long as you haven't been hit in the last 4 seconds. To be precise, 35% less damage taken is a lot, and when you pair that with Wind Dancer, it helps you take even less on the attack hits by another 20%, and it also boosts your chance to evade to almost 90% whenever you do get hit. So unless again you are surrounded by mobs and you are stuck in the middle, you will likely avoid most death situations. And this is actually really good because we are using Mage Bane, so we don't get any evasion rating from our dexterity. So to be able to get 90% evasion chance is a lot. To pretty much sum it all up, Mage Bane and Green Nightmare work together and boosting our spell suppression chance to be overcapped by at least 50%, and then we'll use Acrobatics to convert that into 75% chance to dodge spell, which is the cap. Then we'll use Ancestral Visions, which essentially double dipping on the overcap spell suppression chance by giving us about 75% chance to avoid elemental ailments. For the last 25%, we are getting it from the thick skins cluster here, which adds another 20% chance to avoid elemental ailments. And then for the last 5%, we'll click this small note over here. Now, once you get more dexterity You can probably fine-tune it even more, swap out some more points as needed. The key here is to play with the numbers in your POB and figure out how to hit the sweet spot for both spell dodge chance and chance to avoid elemental ailment. And that's the gist of our defensive setups. It sounds a bit more complicated, but once you get it like I do, it should feel a lot better and tankier in mapping. Again, this is avoidance, not mitigation, so some of the number might be a bit inflated, but what matters is our max hit is actually a lot better, and with the ascendancies, don't panic yet, we will really improve our physical max hit, which is usually the problem. And by the way, since I mentioned don't panic yet, this does work with Mind Over Matter and will not put your damage taken to be over 100%, so it's going to be a great node for us to tech. Alright, next up, we'll talk about the Lie of Meaning and Unnatural Instinct combo near the Scion area. And this combo is insanely strong anyway, and a lot of build runs it if you can path through this area. So, Unnatural Instinct basically give you all the bonuses from all the unallocated small passive skills in the radius. And this means that every nodes that the Lie of Meaning jewel touch also get boosted. In other words, you get a tons more out of your Lie of Meaning jewels when combined with Unnatural Instinct in this particular setups. Now, there's some flexibility here as well. You can swap this jewel around in the slots, so on paper, it actually might be better to put Unnatural Instinct in this spot, but that means you will lose access to a few handy quality of life nodes like movement speeds, skill effect duration, which can affect things like Arcane Cloak durations and Sigil power, some free resistance, and even some totem nodes over here, which is why I decided to put it in the spot, which will give me a better overall quality of life for our build, but do what is best for you. I also opted for the lightning damage percentage versions of Lie of Meaning jewels because first it's cheaper than the mana versions, and it also gave me a lot more damage, which is something we really need after making the swap to Acrobatic Setup. If you do decide to go with a mana Lie of Meaning jewels, you will trade off about 10% damage for a bigger mana pool, which essentially helps with the Mind Over Matter for more tankiness. The bottom line is these two jewels alone account for about 1/3 of our overall damage, so make sure you prioritize getting them right away. Next up, I made some tweaks to the skill gems. Basically, I swapped in Walk Lightning Penetrations to replace the added lightning damage. This added about 10% more damage, and down the line, I will switch to Walk Elemental damage as well, which also let us run Elemental Reflect maps. The spell can pretty much handle every map modifiers in the game, and beside Elemental Reflect, it is annoying before you get Walk Elemental damage to attack. But yeah, that's about it. The cool things that people ask me for rejects for this build, and I pretty much say, hey, we don't really need a rejects, we just run everything. Anyway, make sure you also add quality to most of your gems. Prioritize your damage gems linked like Power Siphon, Arcane Cloak, and I'll say this one more time, for your precision gems, you'll need to play around in your POB to find the sweet spot of the level that you need to run. So basically, in this setups, you can probably push your level to a lot higher than the previous setups, but because precisions give you crit chance and hit chance, so you want to tweak it so that your level, whatever the level of your precision gems is, going to give you 100% crits and 100% hit chance like I have here. See, like if I lower the precision level gems, I will not get the 100% hit chance, and basically want to optimize for that. Going higher in the setup is bad for me because it will cut into my effective HP because it will reserve more life than needed, and so you just need to play around to get the correct number that you need to hit. Hopefully that is not too confusing. If you have questions, just let me know. I made a few changes to the gears and I'll break it down. Like I mentioned before, Kintsugi is awesome. It works great with Acrobatic and also Wind Dancer. An important thing is that you need the 6-link and it has 5 off-color sockets, so normally it would take a lot of efforts to craft this, but I'll talk about the step-by-step how I craft this body armor. So the first step is you get one corrupted, or you could buy a fresh one and use Vowel to corrupt it yourself. You could get one with good implicit, corrupted implicit as well. But anyway, after that, you would craft 4 sockets on it from the bench. Then you use Tainted Jeweler Orb to turn that into 6 sockets. If you lose the sockets, just recraft the 4 sockets and repeat the process until you get 6 sockets. And then you will also craft 4 link at the bench. You use Tainted Orb Refusing to again turn that into a 6 link. If you do lose a link, recraft 4 links and then try again. After that, you just need to spam Tainted Chromatic Orb until you get the desired color. I'm aiming for 3 blue, 2 red, and 1 green. And again, this is pretty easy because it's just 1 on color, and Tainted Chromatic Orb give you a better chance at getting off color. So this is going to be the easiest way for you to get the body armor done. I also crafted my wand with the Harvest Craft to boost my crit chance by a little bit, which helped me hit 100% crits in the POB. If you are overcapping on crits, you can always trick it to add to enchant it with the attack speed ones from the Harvest as well. And yeah, so that's some optimization to be done. I am running a cheap Stygian Vice for some additional damage. So you want to grab one like this with some resistance, maximum life mana, I don't even have that. And then you can craft elemental attack on this for a bit more damage. You add an Abyssal Jewels into the belt, and then on the jewels you want maximum life, maximum mana, and 2 damage mod. So any flatlining damage should work, crit multiplier works, and overall just follow the POB. And if you're not sure about some things, just put it into the POB to see the damage and to see if it's better for you or not. And that's about it for the gear updates. Alright, so the last thing I want to talk about is how to set up the Timeless Jewels, which is going to be a Brutal Restraint. And to do this, you want to first head over to the Timeless Jewel Calculator website, and then you want to pick Brutal Restraints. For the Conqueror, we don't really care because we don't care about the keystone, so pick whatever you like. And actually you want to head over to the skill tree view first, and yeah, so again, select Brutal Restraint. Conqueror doesn't matter. You want to select the jewel sockets that we will be using, which is going to be this one. And then let's pick a stats, and because we're stacking dexterity, the only thing we really want from this is going to be the percent chance, 8% increased dexterity, so it's going to be this one. And then you want to deselect everything and only pick the notable that we'll use in our PoE, which is going to be this one, this one, this one, this one, and I will pick Arcane Wheel as well because eventually we'll be able to grab this at high level. You want to at least 2 increased dexterity notes, and then you can click search. And this will give you a few match, right? So again, we go with, for the cheap options, you want to go with 2, but there are also 19 options for 3 match as well. So you want to click on some of them to see. So for example, I choose the first one here, and it would give me, so 5% dexterity here, and this one is chance to avoid being stunned, maximum life. So this is a pretty good note. Now, if you are not level 98 and you can't get this yet, you might want to look for one that don't really care about this. So it would have increased attack and cast speed and the 3 dexterity here, which is amazing. The only problem is that it might not be available because there's only so many people playing the event, and some of these Timeless Jewel won't actually drops. But if you do find one that you like, next you're going to click trade, and this will bring you to the Path of Exile trade website, and then you can look for it in the search to see if there's any player that have this. So for example, you need to change the league to Phrecia, click search, and just uncheck any of these, go to another Conqueror because we don't care about Conqueror. There's actually one, and because it is really good, so it's 125 Divine Orb, which is probably not what you want. You want to find something cheap and budget, right? So obviously this one is really good. It has everything you wanted. really oh, this is a different one. Anyway, so yeah, this one is really good. Have chance of blight, increase elemental damage. We can use any of this. The one I was actually showing was this one, I think. Okay, so maybe we could search for this one. And I showed this one in Cellar, only 5 divine, but we actually want Phrecia. So yeah, maybe it's not available in here. But anyway, you get the idea. You just go through all these jewels right here, click on trade, change the Conqueror, and if you can't find anything that matches your budget, try to look for another one in here. Some of these two can be pretty good as well. This one gave global critical strike chain, which is really good. This one gave flat 20 dex, which is also good, and global accuracy rating. So yeah, this one is really good as well. So pick what you like to pick what you can use, and that's about it. Alright, so we'll wrap things up with a quick map showcase. And the strategies I'm running isn't anything crazy. It is a mix of Abyss and Betrayal with shrines and ritual on the maps to get more natural spawn monsters. I'm a bit behind on the farm as usual because I stopped playing for a few days. Anyway, this strategy is designed to farm experience while giving me options to find Karinas, get nameless rituals, even though those is not really worth much these days. So anyway, yeah, I took a break, still catching up with the economies. Overall, it is working fine. You know what to say, comparison is the thief of joy, so I am just enjoying how this build is playing, how it turns out. If you really want to know how I make the most money, how to fund this current version of the build, it is not with these strategies. I was running Destructive Play, I was running some Harvest, but it couldn't keep up because some guys in T17 shows up with like 100,000 Jews per hour, like per maps, right? It's the economy is really inflated, but that doesn't mean that you cannot have fun. You can use some low budget strategy, like I mentioned before. Destructive Play, just run invitations, run the Shapers, Guardian, Elder Guardian maps, get some fragments, farm some boss, maybe you get lucky. This build can actually do all that content. And even before this version, it is less tanky, but it is possible to also clear all the content that you want. You just die a little bit more. So anyway, I want to push levels. That's why I'm going with the current strategy that I am going with. If I can push this build further, I will for this event. It has been fun so far, and I might even try out another fun build before I head back to the new PoE 2 league. For anyone that is going to run this tankier versions, I hope you can push it even further, investing more currency and use it to farm the content that you want. In the long run, if you really want to break into those insane T17 farm, you will probably need to switch over to Doryani and Buck, because Avoidance just doesn't scale as well as Swallin as long as it's still in the game. Even though we have new ascendancies, the core game is still pretty much the same like back in 3.25, so Swallin is still pretty broken. At the very least, with the current setup, you can push for all the Void Stone without any issues, and that basically complete the league starter purposes. In my Discord, people are sharing different versions of the build, some going for mitigation instead of avoidance. So if you want to check it out, then it is in Discord and you can ping me and I can help find it. Overall, what I think is I've been doing this kind of maps for a while now, actually level from all the way from 93 to 95 and now pushing 96. We get a lot of EXP per hours and we don't really die. You can see that there's a few Soul Eater mob was chasing me earlier. And this build for me, it's just such a fun mapper. You can just run around dropping your totems. It do a lot of works. The totem basically shreds everything. It is an amazing mappers. The playstyle is very chill. You run around, drop your totems. If you have switched to this build, you will feel a lot tankier in maps. You will not get hit as often as you can, and you have phasing, so you just kind of run through the monster. And I'm actively trying to avoid that beyond boss. There's no reason to kill him. He's just have a lot of HP, just waste time. Right now, all I'm doing is clearing the Abyss. They give a lot of EXP. I'm also clearing Betrayal when I can, and I will run the safe house the safe house provide a lot of EXP, and also carrying a veil up, while it is not as expensive as the 3.25, it is still decent money if you are able to get the veil up to drop. It is about 1 out of 4 chance to get a veil drop, so there's that. Once I get everything set up, get all the cards scribed into the right maps, I will probably make the strategy even better. I will definitely run singular focus to get only 1 or 2 maps to ping pong, and then I will run the idol that will stop boss from spawning, and probably adjust this a little bit to run Abyss and Beyond. These give a lot of EXP as well. I think I'm just yapping at this point, but the point is to showcase the maps and see how tanky it actually is. So let me just skip to the boss fight. Hopefully I'll get back to my regular schedule very soon once I start settling in the new place. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today. Hope you enjoyed this update. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next video.